Coming to you live from secluded British Columbia, it's the 10 Point Podcast. I've not already said this. Oh, wait, yes, I have, because I didn't start recording the podcast.
Not bad.
Right.
I'm so drunk already.
Yes. I'm not going to say everything I said the first time. My name is Bruce, and with me this week, two men who aren't just evil, they are Scottish evil. I've already made that joke once. First, if you screw this up for me, I'll kill you. It's Chris.
That should be Andy this time.
Yeah, well, I guess, although I'm going to say it first time, unlike last time. And secondly, he's a human Xbox. It's Andy.
I'll take that, because I thought you were going to make me the porn star that I could do from the internet.
We are the 10 Point Podcast. We have just done all this, so yeah, this is why we're laughing so much. 10pointpodcast.com is where you can find us. We are a podcast, so you can find us all your podcast apps. YouTube, we are 10 Point Podcast there as well, Andy YouTube, and you can search for us there. All our episodes are there. Not all of them necessarily have a video version, but when we can.
At least this one will now that we're pressing record.
Yeah, now that we are recording, we'll have a video version.
We only got 20 minutes in, so it's all good.
10pointpodcast.com for all your 10 Point Podcast stuff. Just Google 10 Point Podcast and you'll find us everywhere and anywhere. Before we get cracked on with the start of the podcast, what have we been watching in the last week? Chris, I hear you've been watching a whole lot of interesting things in the last week.
Yeah, I've been watching absolutely fuck all.
Right, okay.
What do you do, like, if you don't watch anything, Chris? That's
Look after kids.
Stick a TV on, stick a film on.
Okay, obviously I've been watching Hey Dougie.
I was going to say, which kids shows have you
Because that is literally all Sam's been watching the last few days.
Like, right, okay, Hey Dougie. Like, I know a few people with kids now. Why is that the go-to? Like, back in my
because
day,
it's like it's got adult things that you don't notice until you kind of watched it. There's an episode where he's kitted out like Walter and Jesse from Breaking Bad,
Right.
and they're chasing after blue cheese.
Okay.
So it's got
actually
adult themes that kids don't notice.
I wonder if that's why we ran, like the three of us on this do it all the time. There's little bits of films that just all of a sudden are familiar to us and we can't place it. I wonder if it's just referencing a kids show when we were younger. It was like, oh, that explains it. How? So you've had 3 kids now, and it's like Sam's not very old, is he? How old's Sam now?
He's going to be a year, a week.
There you go. Birthday's coming soon.
A week.
How do you like? This is way off script for what we were last. We've already done this one. Not this bit. When does a kid start watching television? How do you know the child is watching television?
They'll put something on. Say we'll be watching like Frasier or Everyone's Raymond
Who
in
the
the
fuck
morning.
watches Fraser?
Really?
Good show.
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Or Frasier, if you. I always pronounce it wrong. Yeah. He'll like be hiding in the corner and he'll hear something. And he'll come round and sit and watch it, and so we're like, oh well. He started to see stuff on the TV, college things. So then we started putting Dougie on, and he fucking loves it.
Ah. Does it like Dougie better, or does it like Eddie and Frasier better? Which
Dougie.
Right, okay.
Anytime we
It's
go for
always
a Dougie,
fascinating me, just like why kids shows go on. Like, cause as a kid, I think the first kind of cartoons I remember, like the Flintstones, Jetson type things.
Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, that's pretty much
do
where I
it
was
for
at.
like 20 minutes a piece, so you can go and tidy up or do the dishes or something like that.
Right. But yeah, none of my shit was educational.
No.
Yeah. Fireman Sam, stuff like that, and Postman Pat. It's always like
X-Men.
I remember hating Postman Pat. Like, I actually do remember as a kid when that shit came on, I was out. Thunderbirds and Postman Pat, I was out.
Oh, Thunderbirds.
Oh,
I had a Thunderbirds on video and I had a Postman Pat on video, and they were ones they got worn out when I was a kid. Like, I've watched them over and over. Like, what's the thing you've watched most with one of your kids, Chris? It must be the one thing that you have watched 1,000 times with any of them. There must be something.
Right now, it's like it goes through phases. Because if there's a new Disney film, like Frozen, that came out, they watched that religiously, and then out of nowhere they just stopped.
Yeah.
And then they'll watch whatever one comes out for a while, and then it goes back. Oh, I'll watch Frozen. It's like, no, you've watched that 1,000,000 times. There's new films out. Watch new ones. No, I want to watch the old one that I can recite word for word.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I can't even do that with movies.
Yeah.
Like, I need fresh stuff. I need fresh shit.
So what have you watched that's been fresh in the last week, Andy, since we're on the what you've been watching?
Well, I was originally going to go and do a back-to-back, so I was going to go watch Fantastic Beasts and The Lost City. So I blew one of them off, and it was Fantastic Beasts because I've not heard anything good about it, and went and watched The Lost City with Sandra Bullock and Channing Tatum. And Sandra Bullock is fit as fuck. That's all I can say about that.
That's the one bit of Andy's review that he has carried over from the previous recording, non-recording.
Yep, but yeah, still, she's hot as hell. Like I said, Demolition Man 20, 30 years ago, She looks fitter in this than she did in Demolition Man, which is a weird thing about women. Like, I've noticed this. Kind of, if you think 90s women, right, and then they're obviously 30 odd years older.
Mhm.
Some of them, like, have defied age. Other ones look like a leather handbag. Like, it's
True.
It's weird.
Yes, it is weird.
Ming-Na Wen, Street Fighter, right? She's pretty hot. Ming-Na Wen, Mandalorian. Holy hell, she's hotter. Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense, but hey. Anyway, Channing Tatum,
Also hot.
Sandra Bullock, absolutely amazing. Just if you got the choice between that and Uncharted, go watch this, because Uncharted, it's all right, but Channing Tatum absolutely whoops Tom Holland's ass in this one.
Good.
So,
Good to
go
hear.
watch it.
And on to me, I'm not saying everything I said last time. I'm not doing my in-depth review of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 from 7 years ago, whenever the hell it came out. First time ever, got through Amazing Spider-Man 2, some really good bits, but exceptionally long, exceptionally unnecessary bits, but blown away by some of Amazing Spider-Man 2, but I can't be bored seeing it all again. But
It's one of my favourite death scenes ever. It's like, and they actually pull it off. It's like, holy shit, they killed her.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a good. Oh, actually, she is dead. Spoiler for a film that came out ages ago and has been referenced in recent films. But yeah, I'd never got through it in 4 tries or 3 tries or what it was, and I finally got through it. And yeah, really good. And then
So like when Andrew Garfield redeems himself, obviously you wouldn't have known that was a redemption then, did you?
I was aware. I was aware of what had happened, like, but not through having seen it. Through as of people, like, there was so much hype around that the new Spider-Man coming out, and it was, I hope Andrew Garfield, blah blah blah, his Spider-Man, if he's in it, which we all knew was.
Because that was the thing. I think it was like one of the last trailers that came out. You seen MJ falling, and then you seen him jumping. You're like, which everybody knew was going to be a redemption, but still.
After the first one, I'm doing that with all of them because I just start spoiling shit.
I'll tell you what. So I went and watched Lost City, right? And now I've booked early access to go watch the new Nicolas Cage film.
All right,
the one where it's him and Pedro Pascal. Yep. Now I've watched the first trailer of it. It looks fucking amazing. It's like, oh, this is pretty good. Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, going to meet a super fan, Pedro Pascal. That is all I know. They then released another trailer, which is about 2 minutes longer, and now I know the entire story, and now I don't actually want to watch it.
Yeah.
So they have fucked that trailer right up.
I like the way that Marvel have been doing the trailers, which is, here's 30 seconds.
Release them.
Yeah, here's 30 seconds of stuff that everyone could talk about, and then, like, I don't know, 3 months later, here's like a 2 minute long trailer that we actually edit bits out of so that you don't know what's going to happen. Although there was the Spider-Man one was easily
that was hilarious.
But and then it's like they create buzz with it but don't actually show you anything. And then there was one recently. What was the last Marvel movie to come out? Was it Spider-Man?
Morbius, where they changed everything.
Oh, well, see, there's one where like most of the trailer did happen in about the first kind of 40 minutes, maybe it was Spider-Man. First 40 minutes of the film was all the bits you'd seen. And
to be fair, Lost City's like that. Like the bits you see in the trailer are literally the first 5 minutes of the film. Then it's all new.
Yeah,
which I like. I like that.
They've now got on. I think it's also they sort of trust people now to be like, do not spoil it for other people. They trust us to see a film and not go on the internet and be like, oh my god, this happened. So they can like keep things a secret. Seems to be working now, and that'll do us for what we've been watching because we talked for ages earlier on about different stuff and all that. So on to this week's actual podcast. Point number 1 on the 10 Point Podcast. What is the point? The point this week: 2007 comedy drama horror thriller A Dog's Breakfast, brought to us by Kibble Productions that only made this and nothing else. Written by Jane. I should have checked how you say her name. Jane Loftman or Jane Lowman. The only feature she ever wrote, credited as being a writer on 38 episodes of E! News Daily, which I think would essentially write itself, wouldn't it? She is the wife of the man who stars and wrote and directed A Dog's Breakfast, David Hewlett. He didn't really write and direct very much other than his own stuff, but his main starring roles as an actor were in Cube and Stargate Atlantis, which will come up in a minute, before being in Dog's Breakfast. Since then, bit parts in Rise of the Planet of the Apes, The Shape of Water, that won an Oscar, Clarice, the television show, obviously about Hannibal Lecter people and all that, and then most recently Nightmare Alley, another Oscar-nominated film. I don't think it won anything massive at the Oscars this year. So yeah, some bit parts in big things. Co-starring, rounding out the Hewlett gang, his sister, Kate Hewlett, as Marilyn, She's famous for being in Stargate Atlantis, despite it saying she's only in 4 episodes of it. And then beyond A Dog's Breakfast, she's been in things like The Girlfriend Experience and Degrassi Next Class, which Andy informed us is a Canadian thing. Is that right?
Canadian, Jane Silent Bob are in it. It's a Canadian high school soap opera type thing.
There we go. That is her. It seems to be her main thing. Was that I think she was in 50 episodes of some other random sitcom where it was like twin brothers. One of them was a cartoon or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Yeah, it wasn't one of the main things she was famous for, but she was in 50 episodes of it, and I couldn't really find out much about it. But yeah, Kate Hewlett on IMDb if you're looking for it. And our final star, Paul McGillion as Ryan, also famous for being in Stargate Atlantis, rounding out the troupe. He was in Stargate. He's in Stargate. Said that. Star Trek, the 2009 movie. The Marine 4 Moving Target, the 4th of the very successful Marine series, starring.
They're pretty good. They're worth a watch. Anything the Miz is in works.
One of them I've seen. It must be the first one I've seen that actually was quite good.
And then John Cena. The first one.
Cena's in the
I think
first
I've seen that one.
Yeah,
they switched. I think anything at the time where Cena was a star in, they either put Randy Orton or the Miz in afterwards because Cena wouldn't do anymore.
I think Miz did more than one, and it was one that had Becky Lynch and Shawn Michaels in it as well. There's like a whole bunch of wrestlers in it, like one of the ones further on. Paul McGillion also in Tomorrowland, The World Beyond, and then Firefly Lane, a TV series of recent years. I won't go through Stargate stuff with Andy again. Budget for the film. $120,000. Opened in the US for $0. Final US gross $0. Final worldwide takings at all box offices in all of the countries of the world $0 because it did not come out in any cinemas. It was premiered at the San Jose Film Festival on the 3rd of March 2007. I can also find its film festival debuts in the UK and in Canada, and a couple of TV premieres and DVD releases. But yes,
was the UK one like at a Chevron event? Because that's the one I did. Because I want to see if I was the part of a UK premiere there. Because, like I said, he definitely brought his bootleg DVD for this, and then we did a commentary with it. So I wonder if I was the UK premiere.
I will double check.
Or before it.
I can. Its UK premiere was on my birthday in 2007 in Stratford upon Avon Digital Film Festival. So I should be involved in. Yeah. Yeah.
I'm going to say. Could have been the same year though. Could have been.
So it came out over here essentially the same year as it came out on the other film festivals abroad. There we go. So what awards did it get? It struggled because it wasn't at any of the any cinema locations. So it got 1 nomination ever in its history at the 2007 Leo Awards, the British Columbian, if that's what you call it, Film and Television Awards for films that were made in the region. Nominated for Best Makeup in a feature-length drama, it lost to the only other nominee, a film called Fido, which has been spoiled for the two lads because we got this far last time we recorded. But for all those listening, the film Fido is now a cult favourite of ours, despite not seeing it. It goes as such: space radiation turns the dead into zombies. Zomcon fights zombies and finds ways to pacify them and use them. On preteen Timmy's 1950s suburban street, they all have a zombie doing menial chores. Timmy's zombie becomes his pet and friend and is named Fido and is played by Sir Billy Connolly.
What an amazing turn of events. I never expected
that. Did not see that twist coming.
Yes.
That's proper awesome. I want to see this film now.
This is how it went before, but genuine. We all were excited about the fact that Billy Connolly played a pet zombie in some random film from 2007.
Wait. All right, 2007. I was going to say, was this when he had Alzheimer's and like memory loss? Because it's okay if it's that old ago. I don't think he was. I
think he was.
Don't think he had memory loss.
Yeah, he would still be in X-Files and what do you call it?
You don't want to be a brainless zombie.
No, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, keep an ear out for a Fido podcast coming at some point. Synopsis for Dog's Breakfast, provided by David H. from British Columbia. David Hewlett has written this himself. If you've
more
never
directors to do this,
yeah, tell us this is what the story is, okay? If you've never been good at anything in your life, why would murder be any different? A Dog's Breakfast is a head-smacking, bone-breaking, fiancé-bashing romp about a family that just loves themselves to pieces. Patrick has always had a somewhat combative relationship with his little sister Marilyn. When she brings home her new TV star fiancé, Ryan, it's all-out war. When Patrick fails to drive a wedge between the happy couple, he reaches for sharper instruments. Every family has a few skeletons in the closet. A Dog's Breakfast is the nightmarishly funny mess Patrick makes when he tries to add another to his. Who picked the film? It was Andy. Andy, why don't you tell us why you picked it?
Right. I'll try and explain like I did last time. So, as I said last week, I tried to get into your psyche with a indie film, which is not like my normal type of thing. Low budget, Room-esque. This is like my Room type film. Plus, I also, like I said before, we had David Hewlett at one of our events, and he brought the DVD, and we did a commentary and a screening at the same time. So it'd be rude not to actually put this film on a podcast at some stage. But yeah, the first ever showing I would have seen of this would have been with commentary.
With him talking over it, telling you.
Yeah. With him talking over it. And then I've definitely seen it once just raw, and then I've watched it again. So probably 3 attempts I've watched to do this.
And Chris and I had never seen it before. I know that from our previous recording, and we would never find it on any channel because it doesn't exist in that sort of situation. We all watched Andy's DVD. I'll say this again, but somehow my significant other Jade owns the DVD. I'm assuming in a similar fashion to how Andy got his. I did not watch that one because I didn't know where it is, but she's one of the 7 people in the world that had seen this film before when I mentioned it. So we all watched the same DVD.
There was at least 600 people at the convention, right. So at least 600 people have seen this.
There we go. So Andy's the only one who's seen it before, so Chris and I went into this pretty much blind. On to point 2, all fresh material from here on out.
Fresh material.
Yeah, we don't have to repeat anything.
Strap in.
The high points. Now. We don't know what's going to happen from this point on. So Andy, why don't you start on point number 2 with the high points?
Normally I like a strong start, but this film actually didn't have a strong start for me anyway. However, like, it's one of them films, and I'm going to probably do this all the way throughout. When you're sitting there, like, being the tech guy, David Hewlett's on stage, just talking, and then just, like, him glaring at you, because basically the signal was if he looked at me, I had to pause it. So it was one of these ones where he'd pause it and explain the intros and explain what he was doing. So trying to forget about that, like, the strong point for me is from a Stargate fan is just seeing him not be David Hewlett in Stargate. Like, he looks the same, but then instantly acts a little bit different.
So it's like long though. Like we started of what's it called? Rodney McKay's idiosyncrasy.
Yeah, Rodney McKay is his actor, and like that's what his character name is. But it's one of them weird ones. It's just like the way he wears his weird suit jacket, like it's way too big for him, and so instantly just makes you giggle knowing him from something completely different. Yeah. But then he's still familiar.
Yeah.
I did like the randomness of his 6 different bowls of breakfast, the effort that goes in to make his breakfast every morning.
It was that kind of like that was the kind of slow start where it's just like it's quirky, and I hate quirkiness, but yeah, why have you got 6 bowls? And it's just it's questioning everything. It's just like, but it's weird for me watching it as a Stargate fan. It was just like, why is he doing this?
Was the implication that he did that and then ate all 6 bowls? Or
yeah, I think very much so. Yeah,
he did like a spoonful. I don't know whether it's to get different flavors.
Different flavors at different times.
I mean, I'm a person that never notices that any of these different coloured cereals even taste different. So it seems like we're talking. The first high point I've got was an exclamation point at the end. Is cricket batted him out of his shoes? Is the first high point I've got.
I wasn't expecting that.
That's the point, because at this point, I as much as our man Patrick, I didn't really know what was going on either. Like he was very much sneaking around with Ryan. I thought, what is happening here? And because like again, you don't know where he. Like I didn't even know the curtain was there for him to be hiding behind it, and all of a sudden there's the bat, and then him lying with his trainers just sitting with no feet in them.
Which I may as well put the fun fact in now. I was telling the guys before. I almost bought them trainers. They were literally in an online auction for charity auction about 3 weeks ago, and I knew I was going to pick this. So I was trying to win them. They were going to be signed by Paul McGillion as well. But one trainer went for over $800, so $800. So
okay. So there were the separate auctions, you know.
You did get a pair. They were like one each. There was a left and a right.
So in 20 years' time, there'll be this quest to the person who has one of the trainers to find the person who's the other one of the trainers.
But there was only the one pair of trainers. It wasn't like they had stunt trainers. This was a one and done. So
the one for the close up and the one for actually to wear.
Yeah.
Any other early high points? I do have another early-ish one that I want to.
Mine's just kind of all over the bit. Like pretty much
mine's all over the bit as well.
Yeah, the anytime like David Hewlett was on it, it just piqued my interest instantly. He was.
But my very brief early one is I already relate to this man and his hatred of karaoke. It put me in just flat out. Nope. And then like I don't know, let's do karaoke. Like with the echo effects and all. It's like, what is even that? Like, what
I missed this on the first viewing, Because he goes like that, virgins first. He's like, you told him, and walked away, and that completely went straight over my head the first time.
It's actually, that's when it like starts piquing my interest, is when like they're all together, like the quirkiness of just like why is there no paintings on the wall? Like where's his why is his phone on the floor? It's like it always gets lost to me until like, oh yeah, he sold it all. So it's one of these ones where the punchlines work down the line. But yeah, we're round about the karaoke time and the sisters there and they're kind of all getting along. That's when suddenly a joke hits. It's like, oh, why did you tell him I'm a virgin? And he storms away. It's like, this is it's now on my level of humor now. Everything else just goes past me.
It's over the head, and that one's up.
Over the
head. So Chris touched on it. I might as well. I'll carry on what Chris mentioned there. I've got my next high point was the martial arts sparring, and then I've got chopping wood scene, and then I've got actually basically all the physical comedy in the entire film. So anytime David Hewlett goes full like arm and legs comedy style,
that's literally my next point. It's like it didn't take him long to jump to murder, and then from the attempts of Ryan's life, it is just hilarious how it just backfires each time.
It is how quick that jump, like, and he just seems like it's fine, like electrified ladder, genius.
I had no idea what it was like. There's so many scenes where I don't know what's happening, and the ladder is one of them. And I'm like, why couldn't he grab? Like, first of all, what is he doing with the ladder in the first place? And then he tells him not to grab that end. It's like, why? And then it's like you say, it develops later on. It's like, he's got everything set up. And then, but even then, I was like, I couldn't work out. He plugged it in, and he was like, I was like, why is turning on the?
It's the bit when he's running afterward. He's like, oh, it's absolutely amazing. But it's that random song that just keeps playing as well. But yeah, the scene of him running back and forth, literally, like just stupid comedy just kicked in. I was like, yep, this is it.
I thought things like that, he was going to accidentally kill him. And he's like pulling at the wire. He's like, come on, pull. And he's just going to pull the ladder and him collapse. And that'd be it. Yeah. And he'd be like, oh, shit. It wasn't an accident. But it's just funny, like the car. He's just lying there as the car that he's cut the brakes on and goes, oh, don't hit that car. Crash. Oh, please, that I've stopped you. Crash. And then, what was the other one? There's a third one as well.
Road or something like that, I think.
Oh, yeah, don't go on the road. And he hears a car crash. And he's like, And he's
like I said, that bit there is the type of comedy I would just kind of roll my eyes at. I was like, but because it's like somebody I know, it's funnier. For me, it enhances it.
It was the chopping wood that got me, because like I love a scene where there's some tension builds, and like he's swinging an axe, like just hold that for me, and then he goes to swing the axe, and then it cuts away, and you just hear this squeal. And you're like, you don't know what's happened, but you picture in your mind, oh, you can't have just kabonged him in the head with the axe. And you cut back, and Ryan's fine. And you're like, oh, has he cut his hands off? And then it reveals now his hands are fine as well. And then then he's like, are you okay? And you're like, well, what has he done to himself? And then it reveals it's this step by step the reveal of it's not him, it's not that, it's not. And then it's like he's hitting himself in the leg with the axe. I really enjoyed that.
Oh, but the bit that I nearly wet myself here is when he's lubing up the bath.
That was my next time.
Again, he's no idea what's happening.
He puts his hand on the side, he goes like that, whack.
Yeah. I think that was the point where I just came up and went all physical comedy in the film. That was that.
But even like the bit after that, when he walks out, he's just got the petroleum jelly, and she's like, ew. And it's like, oh. And he's just like standing waiting for the toilet, because that's how I imagine. Anytime I take a shit, like in a public toilet, I always imagine somebody's outside doing that, just like listening.
I like the obviously their brother and sister in real life as well, but their chemistry in this, where she's like slapping him in the head, freak.
They have a chemistry, but I do have a low point relating to them. I won't go any further. But yes, the two of them, they do bounce off each other really well. Like their rapport, if you want to call it that, is very good. My next high point is, well, at this point, Ryan is deceased. And he thinks the best way to deal with him is chuck him in the basement, and then at some point he's going to roll him up on a carpet and go bury him. So him coming in and like rolling up the carpet as his sister and the dead guy's it's just sitting watching telly. And he's like, nope, never mind, nothing, no problem. Just rolling up this carpet in the background and taking the carpet.
I think that's what makes it work. It's like the long burn of like him being really weird. So him just rolling up a carpet is just like she's okay with it. He's like, I must have sold it on eBay. So he goes to sell it or something like that.
What was it? The last heirloom that the family had, and that as well.
My next bit is going to be a bit of a spoil. No, I'll leave that until later on. Okay. I got the music. It kind of gave me a bit of Aliens and the Matrixy vibe. And then at one point there was Lord of the Rings. He's not noticed that.
Nope.
A high bar.
I know, it was like,
Nope.
think
Jesus,
the
you got
first
all the
time-
franchises there in one film, Chris.
I know. That's it. Like, how
Explain
did
yourself.
that Matrix say? What's the noise? You know, the kind of twinkly noise that it does when the Matrix is going down. Oh, you need to go back.
Oh,
to this movie.
yeah, like
Yeah.
the green bits of the Matrix,
Yes.
like that.
I had
Oh,
that.
I
And
didn't
then at one point,
All I'm thinking about is how I download that song that's playing on the thing when they're putting up the Christmas tree lights. Like that's a banger of a song.
I'm not sure how he was making it like stop, but you see him, he goes to turn off the stereo and then gives up. So he just goes, finds the cable and then just yanks the cable, but it doesn't move. Right? You can see it. He just pulls a bit of loose cable and the music stopped.
I'm okay. I will go to my next high point is Ryan's commitment to playing dead. Is now we know like
He cannot fault how good an actor he is when you think about
I wouldn't
film.
be sticking my tongue in the mud or letting a dog annoy me in the basement.
Yeah. Andy, what about you?
My next point is when.
I've expired my high points, I'm afraid.
All right, my next one is Paul McGillion playing a Scottish female detective, which none of that sentence makes any sense whatsoever, because how is a Scottish person being a British Columbian detective? One, that doesn't make any sense.
In retrospect, we were seeing through the clues here. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and like it's funny knowing that that's actually almost his real accent, him playing female rather than Ryan's voice.
His own accent was worse than his actual like American accent, I thought.
I've got that written down. I thought, well, Jade's a massive Paul McGillion fan from Stargate, so I was like, I had to double check. I was like, he is Scottish, isn't she? And she's like, he is, but he's not, but he is, but he's not. And I'm like, because I thought he was Scottish, and how does his Scottish accent sound faker than his American or Canadian accent?
But genuinely, like when he talks, that is how he talks. Like I think he moved from Scotland when he was 2 to British Columbia, then came back and studied for a bit. But at the events and that, he speaks fake Scottish like all the time. That is how he sounds. How he sounds as the lady detective, that's pretty much what he sounds like in real life. It's hilarious.
Yeah, transatlantic kind of Scottish accent. That's, another. I won't save it for low points, but I've very much got the ant as a low point in terms of what's happening in the film and looking back on why and like.
My favourite scene is when he's butt naked outside the window and just having that conversation with her. Just that, and his feet just like all calm, like it's happy wiggling is what I would call it. Happy wiggling of his feet.
But no,
while he's all naked in the mud.
I'd kind of given up, kind of enjoying the weirdness at that point. I was just like, this is too weird. I don't know why this is happening. I'd like, someone in drag, that's not necessarily funny anymore, like on its own. And then I don't know, it felt like this strange person being unnecessarily weird to the already weird guy. And at that point, I was like, okay, this is not so fun anymore. Although I did laugh at him just staring back in the window at them as she left. Just for aid, and it going on like 5 seconds longer than you thought, and then another 5 seconds longer than you thought, and then another 5. Like just kept going and going and going and going. I did enjoy the exits. That would be a best exit nominee. I don't know if this will have that award. But the ant was where it kind of dipped for me, unfortunately. Like I say, I'm out of high points. So who wants to round out a few more?
Chris Judge not making anybody's high points.
Yeah, that's my last one. Is like he's another one who I think is criminally underused for comedic roles because he's got a bit of a funny bone to him.
Yes, Chris Judge does.
Everything else is just straight. Like Kratos' voice is just like no emotion, and Stargate is Teal'c is no emotion. But it's nice to see him on a bit of range. In
real life, he has a fun side, and like I said, that man, he can go all night. Is all I'll say. Well, not with me either.
All right, okay. That's some real insider knowledge there from me.
I definitely have insider knowledge, but yeah, right, Jesus hell, he's fun in real life. He's a really nice guy.
I've had a couple of dealings with him, and he was always very, very nice to me as well. Good laugh. Is that us for high points, and Andy? You get any others?
I think so.
Right, on low points, then, what we thought the worst bits and things of the film were. Very early on, sharing a toothbrush with a dog, that is a low point. I did not do that.
That would piss you off.
Yeah, there's no need like that. Okay, I'm happy with it being a strange guy, but no, don't do that, please. I don't need to see that. At least it's that end of the dog. We've had too many.
I'm putting a dog in a high point. I'm going back. That dog,
of course,
well trained.
Yeah. Very good dog.
Dog gets a shout out.
I did some. There's very little trivia research to be able done for this film, but what I could find out was the dog was like on its way to being put down before
Yes,
the
this is
couple
his
that
dog.
adopted him, the actual kind of married couple that are in the film, and then they thought, oh, well, we'll stick it in the film. It's not like a trained actor dog anymore than it's two actors' dog, if you know what I'm saying. So yeah, that's a very very good boy. He gets
Yes.
a good dog treat.
Shout out before we get some low points. We're not putting that dog in a low point.
No, definitely not.
I'll go for my first one.
On you
Like,
go.
this isn't specific just to this film, but acting in shows and films are within films. Why is it always got to be shit?
Yeah.
Why could it not be like an Oscar-worthy performance inside that instead of being really cheesy and
It's
shit?
always a parody, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
what jumps to mind for me is in Forgetting Sarah Marshall, where they have the CSI show, where it's like overly, what is it, like, was it crime scene of the crime or something like that, where it's overly dramatic.
They
and
overact it.
and then they have kind of sad jokes and all that sort of stuff.
However,
I'm like,
you say that, Rachel Luttrell, who plays the woman in the kind of mockumentary, she plays exactly the same character in Stargate Atlantis. Like, she has acted no differently. She is just playing the same character.
Yeah, allegedly or apparently the same sets as well as Stargate.
They are.
You can spot what they're
Yes.
what they're in the show is actually in
Yes, they're
Stargate.
in certain shows and stuff like that. Yes, I think it's on the Prometheus or the Daedalus or one of the others. One of the ships. But yeah,
Use what you can, I suppose. You're there anyway as well.
exactly. It
They
makes
would just
sense.
film it after hours, right? Thing was a kid. It's like quick, go, quick,
But,
just film the scene.
yeah, no, I will agree with you. It's where it's fun as a Stargate fan that it's kind of spoofed Stargate.
Yeah.
It is very cringeworthy to make him look like a really good actor, and he's doing this kind of weird show.
I guess it's all tongue in cheek, really. It's like they
Yeah.
know they're not releasing an Oscar-worthy film, so they are having a bit of fun, poking fun at themselves. I guess
Yeah.
it's got indeed. So I guess one of my major low points is the weird brother or sister relationship. Now I have no siblings, so I can't really comment too. But I
Chris
feel like
is going to like rebuttal all of this. Like,
yeah, Chris is the expert here. He is weirdly overprotective and attached to his sister. Like, I wasn't sure they were brother and sister at the beginning. I thought, oh, here's his, like, I didn't know. I don't know if the film established that it was his sister that was arriving or I missed it. And she arrives, and then there's the fiance, and I'm like, right, so who is this and all that, and then oh, it's the sister. But then on, I never shook this feeling of, is he actually in love with his sister the whole way through? And no one is good enough, because I feel like he was ready to kill the guy before he found out, before he overheard the phone call.
Like, he'd brain him with a bloody cricket bat just for
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So
And like, other than that phone call, like, he had no motivation, which is what actually my low point. It's like, why is that? Like, he just wants to kill him. It's like he seems super overly protective of his sister.
yeah, it's one of my biggest things that I complain about television sitcoms is give me a sitcom where every episode isn't based on a lie or an assumption. And this whole film, the storyline is based on him just assuming, oh, one phone call, oh, it sounds like he's talking to another woman and it's like they want to kill off my sister or whatever it was. So I must murder. Rather than asking the guy what's going on, I'm going to kill him. And it's like, there's better ways to craft a story than to just jump on an assumption like that. Any other low points?
Well, that kind of leads to it, like the twist, the fact that he's not actually dead. I saw that coming fairly
I
quickly
didn't necessarily
afterwards.
see it coming. But
See,
I've
I
got,
didn't.
as a low point, I've just got, but why is my low point in reference to this? Why? Like, I don't
See,
know
Because, like, let's put like Chris said that, right? Chris, if you try to kill your sister's significant other,
right,
and then you've got that mentality, do you think your sister would go, "Hey, Chris is trying to kill you. Let's play a prank on him"? Or would you call like, do you think your sister would call you out and go, "Why the fuck are you trying to kill him?" Like, seriously.
Well, one of them, probably quite easy, but the other one is a former police officer, so I'd probably get myself killed and put in jail. So,
But it's just,
I would
it's the hardest. I know it's funny for a film, but it's a really hard dynamic to kind of follow. It's just like, but your brother's trying to kill you. Like, well, kill your other half. It's like you would call him out on it, but no, I don't know. We'll play along because at any stage he could have swung the axe and actually killed him.
Yeah. And Chris said the twist was bad. It's the fact that she seemed to have absolutely no emotion whatsoever to the reveal that her fiance was.
See, I actually kind of liked it. It's why another higher low point, but I kind of like how she got on with it because then it explains the family being, these guys are actually a bit nuts.
Yeah.
It was when he's at the window with the lights on and she comes out and he turns the light on and he's gone. I knew he was he's alive then. I didn't realise she was in it until I think it was the fish when she grabbed him by the thing to purposely make him faint and shit himself.
Right.
That's when I thought, oh, she's in it. She knows.
See, I honestly, I didn't actually see the twist coming. I can normally pick a twist, but I just thought it was just zany, weird. He's actually killed them. They're all in on it.
Yeah.
I couldn't predict it.
Because I've got, like, one of my low points that I've passed over the now is the hallucinations really do drag on a bit. Of course, they weren't hallucinations now. It's like clues that he's not actually dead or them wanting it. But yeah, it was. I think I've got it as my conclusion at the end is once he killed him or once he died and he buried him, that's kind of where my. Like, I was going along for the ride and enjoying it. And then once he buried him, and it's all the whole thing, I thought the dog was digging him up. Like, I thought that was the whole point of the film was the dog keeps digging him up and dragging him into the house. And I'm like, I've got a kind of, what's it called? Weekend at Bernie's kind of thing here, where there's a dead body that he just can't shake. And I thought, it's called a dog's breakfast. It must be the dog. And I got completely lost in the storyline because he goes into the basement following the dog, and there's like the blood outline. And I'm like, has the dog eaten his entire body? Like, I'd forgotten he'd buried him. But I was like, what the hell? Like that's how confused I got by this whole thing of is he dead? Like, what's happening with the body? Is he hallucinating and all that? I kind of lost my way through there. But that's me. I've covered essentially all my complaints about the film.
One of mine is partly Andy's high point. I nearly went my entire life without seeing David Hewlett in The Buff. I didn't need to see that.
It was too much as well. Like, it needed a trifle less.
I don't know. It's for an actor just to lie bollock naked in the mud. Because let's face it, it's on a budget. He's definitely doing that, isn't he?
It's his film.
Then his sister's like, okay, tell me when you're done. I don't want to see this.
Yeah.
You know, one of my major low points in this entire film is David Hewlett, and especially in this film, reminds me of Carswell. It is how I imagine Carswell to be.
That's a resemblance, yes.
Yeah.
Not that I know him particularly well, but he looks a bit like him, yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
So that's a low point for me.
My other one is that clown mask on the edge of his bed was creepy as fuck.
Like
that alone would give me nightmares.
Red flag there. He's crazy. You don't like. I would, if that was there every night, I'd roll over and get a fright. Like I would. Like, I would forget. Oh no, I can't be having that. Scary stuff.
I've got one more low point. Any more?
I'm done.
No.
All right, it's the reveal. It's a bit shit. It's like, she's shouting through Ryan, come in, and he puts his leg in first. Who comes into a room like that?
And I think he definitely enjoyed being dragged too much. I think.
Oh yes.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I need to be dragged.
Smears a lipstick across his face, and he's like, just get a wipe and go like that. It's me.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's not taking the lipstick off either. It's like just making it red. Like you've made your face red rather than. It's not like
this is a shit Joker.
It's not like Superman. Like, oh look, it is. I couldn't tell because you had lipstick on.
It's not illegal or anything, but I always find it weird when in-laws find each other attractive. Like Ryan's sister finds his future brother-in-law attractive and vice versa.
Right. Yeah.
It's just weird.
But it's kind of weird. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's no cross-pollination in there.
That's me about it.
That's the low points. Right, we've cracked through that then. On 2.4 on the 10 Point Podcast is our stats. Listen for a lot of zeros here. No shits, no F-bombs, not one swear whatsoever. It's a very pleasant, kind of family-friendly film outside of the murder. No explosions either. I thought the house was going to go up when he smelt gas and came in with the birthday cake. I thought
that made him money.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And no deaths. This was sitting at 1 for quite a considerable amount of time, but there were in fact no deaths in the film. And no dead animals either. No cows present, no goat. Oh, well, no, the fish survived, didn't it? Because it was flapping around and stuff. I didn't think it was a dead fish.
I assume that's what she used to feed the dogs.
Oh, maybe. Okay, dead animal, at least one. No cows, no goats, though. Was there peeing? Yes. Ryan was very much in need of a pee, and then he went into the toilet. I'm sure we could hear him peeing before he turned on his lubricated shower. No paedophiles, the devil wasn't there, and nothing Nazi-ish. However, oh no, I was going to say there weren't any minorities, but Chris Judge ticks that box for us. There was indeed 1/5 of the cast.
And Rachel Luttrell.
Ah, there we go. Yeah. So represented.
It's almost 50%.
Not 10 Point Podcast all white this week. We had some representation. This is called A Dog's Breakfast. So I counted how many dogs and how many breakfasts there were. There were 8 dogs. I was positive this was going to be 1, but a whole bunch of neighbours' dogs up at one point. So 8 dogs. And then I've got 7 breakfasts.
I've got 15. Because I counted all the individual dog breakfasts as well.
Right, so yeah, I had him and the dog twice had breakfast, because sometimes they fill the bowl up and I didn't think it was the morning. And then there was the 3 human breakfasts the one morning where Ryan was in the robe, and we'll say no more about it. Everybody got a breakfast at that point. So Chris says 15. I'll go
counted all the dog's breakfast the morning that he woke up after blitzing him.
I didn't count how many times the dog was eating that body that I thought it was eating as well. I had a good few mornings, but yeah, he didn't eat the body. And did they say the thing? Did they say dogs? But I think it's dog's breakfast rather than a dog's breakfast.
I don't even think they said dog.
They said dog, yeah. No, they said neighbours' dogs. They definitely said dogs. Yes, dog breakfast was not mentioned. I'm not actually sure. This again feels like the opposite of Andy. When Andy comes up with a title and makes a film about it, I feel like they filmed this film. What are we going to call it? Let's call it A Dog's Breakfast. It's like, yeah, kind of. They do feed it to the dog, kind of, but not really. Like, it's not about that. But it does make a mess of things, I'm assuming.
When I first heard about it, my mind went where you wanted it to go, where you thought the dog was going to do all the stuff, and that's where I wanted it to go.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought the dog was going behind it all. So there we go. Chris, any other stats from you since you did the breakfasts?
No, I was going to count dogs as well, but then I got bored.
I mean, but it was 1 for most of it, yeah.
And then, showed up. I said, it's not very good. It's literally a dog and breakfast, so I thought I'd just do breakfasts.
Okay. Andy, have you got a most pornographic scene?
The breakfast that Paul McGillion makes, that pancake stack with the bacon.
Pancakes,
oh my god. What a breakfast.
Does not have to be like David Tulip practically buck naked with a rubber duck?
Nope. Pancakes.
Am I right? Did he have this, like, the whole tray in the oven?
Yep.
Yeah, I was confused about that.
Yeah. With like a whole breakfast spread and a stack of pancakes all in the oven. It seems kind of weird. There we go. So we all agree. Not David Hewlett in the shower, as mentioned. On to point 5 is the 10-point podcast quiz.
God,
Andy is the quiz master. The great success of the Grease Mega Mix lyrics quiz of last week. Let's see what Andy's got for us this week.
Right. I'm calling this one the Breakfast of Champions.
Hey, okay.
So it's going to be 1 question each, type back and forth, type 1.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, I'm going to give you a description, and you've got to tell me where the breakfast is from. So
right,
these are famous places that do breakfasts.
I mean, is it cities or is it like the Ritz?
No, it's brands.
Right.
It's an easy quiz. You'll work out. Who wants to go first?
I think it's me to go first. I think I'm due to go first. Is it being offered over? Or like if I get it wrong, is Chris?
Yeah, it's getting offered over. Yeah.
I will start.
Don't. Right, you're starting. Right. Where might you find a double sausage and cheese McMuffin meal?
I'm going to assume McDonald's restaurants.
Correct. You are correct. Right. They only get harder from now on, so you were right to go first.
Good.
Chris, which American fast food joint introduced the croissant-wich in 1983?
Written in Andy's own words, I'm sure, that question.
Wendy's? I don't know.
No, Briss.
Fast food, croissant-wich. I don't know what counts as fast food over there. Let's go something wacky like In-N-Out Burger or something like that.
Nope, it was Burger King.
Oh, it was as obvious as that. Okay.
It was obvious as that. Right, Bruce.
Mm-hmm.
Where would you be able to enjoy a breakfast bender?
What's Futurama? Where's that based? A breakfast bender. Let's go something like Witherspoons.
It's not Witherspoons. Chris.
Breakfast bender. Fuck. I don't know. I don't know. Pass.
Wimpy.
Wimpy, okay.
Oh, I forgot Wimpy existed.
Wimpy's do benders, and they also did the breakfast bender. Chris, in which restaurant would you find the Sausage Nest Monster, a breakfast which includes a plump, hearty, metre-long sausage nestled in a fluffy loaf?
Which restaurant?
Sounds good.
It's got to be
Yes.
somewhere in Inverness. I don't know. Inverness, Witherspoons.
It's not the Wetherspoons, no.
Right. I'm aware there is a sort of restaurant. It's kind of like a Scottish version of like Hooters or something like that. It's called like something to do with a kilt. Is that? Am I along the right lines at all?
No,
Right. Okay.
it is actually any Hungry Horse brand in Scotland.
Right. Okay.
So you can get the sausage and this monster breakfast in Hungry Horse. All right, who's next? Bruce.
Me to go first. Yeah.
Where would you find the popular dish named Moons of Miami?
Good pun there. What are they called? Let's say like the Hard Rock Hotel or something like that.
Not the Hard Rock, no, Chris.
If they do breakfast or not.
Moons of Miami.
Wetherspoons of Miami. I don't know.
It was the famous American brand Denny's.
Okay.
Right, who's first? Chris.
Chris.
Right. Where would you find a large breakfast totaling £6.80, which includes 2 eggs, bacon, 2 sausages, beans, 3 hash browns, mushrooms, 2 slices of toast?
I'm going to say Wetherspoons.
Wetherspoons is the correct answer.
I got one.
There was Chris. He didn't actually have to look at it. He knows in his head what is in large breakfast.
Right, Bruce. HHH, Big O Pancakes, is the staple item of which American menu?
Triple H.
No, it's HH. Double H.
Okay, not try. I was going to say it's like
Big O Pancakes.
WWE Cafe, whatever it's called. HH. IHOP.
Not IHOP, Chris.
Harryhausen.
Not Harryhausen, it's Hash House A Go-Go.
Right. I knew the HH was a giveaway, but I didn't really
Can't
know.
even remember the scores, so we'll keep
It's
that
one
on.
each. It is 1-1.
All right, here we go, Chris. A nice easy one for you. Tim Hortons has recently came over to the UK and hit the United Kingdom by storm. However, along with their breakfast, you can get miniature donuts. What are these called?
Donut holes.
They're not donut holes,
miniature
Bruce.
donuts. Oh, no.
Are they Timbits?
They're Timbits. Point to you, Bruce. Right, here we go. Here we get to the fun ones of me trying to pronounce stuff. Bruce.
Yes.
Right, here we go. Right, listen to the pronunciation.
Right, focus. Visualize the words as he says it here.
Right, here we go. Horcha fartons is a breakfast commonly enjoyed in which country?
Horcha fartons.
Horcha fartons. Which country would you find a horcha farton?
Let's go. Well, I'm thinking Spanish, so I'm going to go Spain.
100% right.
Hey, it sounded Spanish.
It is a popular Spanish soft drink and sweetbread combo for breakfast.
Horcha fartons.
Right, Chris, you need this one to stay in the game. Right, Chris, here we go. Right, so this is a bread. This bread originates from which country? The bread name is Hagelslag.
Denmark.
But that's a country.
Denmark. He said which country, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the Netherlands.
It's a different country. Right.
I wanted the Netherlands, so I'll give you that, right?
No,
So,
it's not the same
No,
one.
you can't give us a different country.
Netherlands is Holland.
it's close enough. They all do it. It's over
Near
there.
it. Is it okay?
It's near it. He gets it. Right. So Bruce has won it either way, so it doesn't actually matter about my last question.
Yeah.
However, if Chris gets this, I'm going to give him it. Chris, you got a bonus question since the last one. The breakfast baconator is a combo famous in which American food chain?
Is this my question or his? I'm confused.
No, it's Chris. If Chris gets this, he wins.
Right, okay. Despite the fact it took me 3-3.
The bacon.
Yes.
Oh, what's that one where you get paddled if you don't eat it? Is it a heart attack something? I don't know.
It's not Hard Attack Grill. Bruce,
I recognise
Baconator.
I recognise it, but I don't know where it's from, to be honest. Is it White Castle?
Oh, close. It's Wendy's.
Oh, I said Wendy's first.
So Bruce wins overall.
I win somehow. I'm not sure what the score was in the end and what points we
I
given.
think he won.
But I got
3-1.
3 right. Yeah, definitely 3-1 or maybe 3-2 if Denmark is in the Netherlands. On to point 6 then. Movies within movies. I have got my parodies and references. It's kind of tough because some of them were overt and some of them were just me saying, "Oh, that's that. That recognise that from that." So I have Incredible Hulk with his big green hands at the beginning. I'm not sure if that was meant to be a reference, but he had big green hands. Stargate, that was as a film, but the TV show was flat out in it the whole way through. I've got Austin Powers. That was just him peeing because he definitely peed and then stopped and then carried on peeing again, which is an Austin Powers gag to me. It's probably some other comedy things before that. I've got Batman because the description of him being dropped on his head was him falling off the roof while dressed like Batman in my mind's eye. So I think that was a Batmaner. And then I wasn't sure if this was it, but I went with it. I've got The Godfather because after he tried to bury Ryan in the water, he reappears and there's a fish there. And then famously, The Godfather, the fish was like a sign that he sleeps with the fishies. So I thought, that means he's buried at sea or the body's in the water. And again, carpets, mafia, all that sort of stuff as well. And that was it, I think. There's probably some other sort of little jokes here and there that I kind of missed. But lots of all set in one house little references, I'm sure, as well. And what's never not good about this film, that was in this film, I've got comedy martial arts, because I remember that Napoleon Dynamite had Rex Kwon Do as well. We very much enjoyed about funny martial arts fights. And then Kung Pao Enter the Fist. We had a whole film on it, so we do enjoy that. Chris, the 10-point podcast universe, what have you come up with?
Nothing. I don't. Nobody's been doing anything before. It's been a while since that happened, I think. It
has been a long time. It's because it's a small cast, and then the kind of one or two people who could cross over.
Cast as well.
We haven't done the films. Like we could have done something that Chris Judge was in, or we could have done something David Hewlett was in, but we just haven't yet. So not bad. But have you recast us into some roles in this very small cast?
I feel like this is quite an obvious one. I put Andy as Patrick because I can see him as on to murder pretty quickly after meeting someone he doesn't like.
It's true.
I put myself as Ryan. Mostly because I think Kate Hewlett's quite hot. I put Bruce as Chris Judge.
I've got me as Chris as well. Despite the fact I wanted to cast you as Chris because his character name was Chris and he's played by Chris and you're also Chris. I thought that would be funny. But I know I just thought that you would be Patrick and Andy would be Ryan. And it's just because I wanted to see Andy play the role and have to drag up at one point would be humorous. That might be.
I'd definitely drag up.
Yeah, so you two are the other two. Definitely the one that wants to murder the other more is the way around it is, and I'll be Chris Judge coming in for a date. Andy, have you done any recasting?
No, not at all.
No,
because I don't feel like, other than putting The Rock and Kevin Hart in it, which is an obvious go-to, I don't feel like another combo that would really work. Like as a Stargate fan, these two have they've nailed it. Like this is what a Stargate fan would want.
Would this be better if they were their Stargate characters? Like, would that be better?
No.
I would like to see Jason Momoa appearing it while he was a nobody.
Like obviously Jason Momoa was in Stargate. He would have been like maybe a few more cameos from Stargate would have helped this a bigger cast. But yeah, it's one of the hardest ones I've ever had to try and recast because I don't think it really works. You can't actually do it.
Exactly. Okay, then on to point 7 on the podcast, Chris. You've got Chris's Would You Rather as point 7.
This is another tricky one, but I think I've got one. So, would you rather have to separate every meal like Patrick did for his breakfast, or eat dog food once, but everybody knows that you've eaten dog food? I mean,
just once. Just once. I would eat dog food.
Like, is it? Here's a whole bowl of dog food.
Yeah. I would have no problem with eating dog food if everybody knew I ate dog food.
Well, I eat so slowly that I could easily do the food separating thing. That would be fine for me. I could do that. I think I probably could do that. It depends how bad the dog food tastes. If it tasted all right.
Well, never tried dog food, so
yeah.
I would eat a whole tin of dog food if I had never had to separate my food. Because I mean, the whole point of going to a buffet is I like my food to be mixed up. Yeah. I ain't separating that shit.
Oh, imagine that. You have to go and get one thing and then go up and get another
exactly.
thing.
You have like 12 plates of like each different thing. Yeah. And you're taking a tin of dog food out of each one.
I will eat a tin of dog food on this podcast and live stream the motherfucker if I had to separate my shit.
You're into the pointies.
Yeah, I do, to be honest. I would rather eat a tin of dog food and not separate my food out.
It really depends how bad it tastes. Like it looks like some dog food looks tasty, and I'm like, oh yeah, I could try a bit of that.
I
But,
mean,
yeah.
Oh, wet dog food, not dry dog food.
Yeah.
Like I'm so serious about eating dog food. I would lie on a muddy
do it now
field,
just to prove
bollock naked, like literally muddy field, bollock naked, eating some dog food in front of you both. As long as I never have to eat my food like raw or separate again.
Okay.
Because I like the textures. I like to mix it. I can't eat it separate.
Did Patrick ever eat anything else in the film, or did he only eat the cereal?
Only eat cereal.
Well, we must eat pancakes and bacon at some stage.
Yeah, we never saw
it.
it.
Pretty keen.
Yeah, because they might just eat that normally. It might just be specifically cereal that he separates. So.
Well, yeah, it's just because you made a point of separating it out. Oh yeah. Colours. Ah well.
And also the washing up in this climate where like water and electricity is costing a fortune. Washing 6 bowls versus 1, stupid. It's not good economics.
The dog bowl's easy just to wash out, yeah. Right, on to point 8 then. Our nominations for the aforementioned Pointy Awards at the end of the season. Does anyone want to lead off? I've been leading off a lot recently.
I'll go for I've got a few. I went for Best Actor as David Hewlett.
Yep, me too.
I thought he's massively underrated and everything.
He's very good in this. Like, being what he's doing, he's very good at it.
I went for Best Entrance as Ryan, getting smashed in the face with a cricket bat.
Best Exit is his aunt. I don't know if you had that, if that even exists. But it's staring back in the glass window.
I've got that as worst accent.
Yeah.
His own Scottish accent.
His own Scottish accent is the worst accent.
American accent.
I think us being Scottish means we're allowed to pick on him for his Scottish accent. I think that's allowed.
I went for Worst Plan as Patrick going straight to attempted murder for his sisters.
Not a bad idea, but my worst plan was just their plan. Like, I would say the villains, but the other two, whatever they were up to, like, they claimed at the end that, oh yeah, we thought you would do something like this, so we thought this is the best way to win you over, would be to prank you like
all
this.
The fucking place.
Yeah.
I went for that best plan because it worked. He was he liked them.
We've got to this point now where sometimes we judge plans on their success, sometimes we judge plans on how bad
the whole thing's an awful plan, but
yeah, it's a bad plan, but
it worked.
It does. It's successful, but it's a terrible plan.
I've got a Best Jimmy.
Oh,
the whiskey was called James's.
It was, wasn't it? Very good. I can't.
The whiskey's going to win Best Jimmy.
And it wasn't James, like belonging to James. It was belonging to Jamesy, wasn't it? It was like Jamesy's rather than James's, which is.
I was going to do Michael Pena as Marlon and Ryan explaining the accident, but to be fair, I don't want to. Best inanimate object, the blow up doll, because it got Kate Hewlett's attention apparently.
I went for the penguin thing that everyone kept trying to kill each other.
Yes, picking up and killing it.
Oh yeah, we don't talk about the end. Is the implication that he's going to go murder him out in the marshlands at the end? I kind of missed what the end meant.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he doesn't want his sister.
Is it Fredo?
Yeah, exactly. The Godfather again.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like he makes eyes at his sister, and then he walks him out and takes the murder penguin, and then that's the end of the film. Is he gonna go kill him? Is that what's most of the things happening here? So yeah, I completely forgot about the ending.
Best cameo, Chris Judge.
No, see, I've gone for. I didn't go best. It's a good cameo, but I got spoiled that he was in it because I accidentally saw the cast list because it's like that long. I've gone for most unexpected person in film. I recognise the sister. I'm like, how do I know the sister? And it's an Irish/British television presenter, Amanda Byram from Total Wipeout. Yeah.
Yeah. Total Wipeout. Yeah.
What the hell? She used to do the Big Breakfast when I was younger. I was like, I recognise her. Yeah, Total Wipeout is her big famous role. Like, and it's the only thing like film she's ever in. It's just one film and she has like one.
Yeah.
Like,
and it literally makes no sense. There's no connection that I know of. Just she's in it.
Yeah, some really random. And I did not expect to see it. I thought, well, I'll do Chris Judge, and then I kind of knew.
I mean, to be Amanda Byram.
To be fair, I've probably got more chance of being in this film than she did. Like the amount of times I've met David Hewlett, I've even got an autograph saying to my best friend Andrew.
Oh,
I literally should have been cast in this film. We're friends. To be fair, there was an awkward elevator incident with me and David Hewlett, where me and David Hewlett were in an elevator for 5 minutes.
Ah, right, okay.
And it was one of them ones that's just like, I know you, you know me. Let's not talk to each other for 5 minutes. And I really needed a fart as well. It was proper bad. Because it's one of them ones, you know, where you have to go for a room shit? That's where I was at.
In a hotel?
And then the elevator stopped. Yes. And then it's like, oh, God. And then we both get out of floor 5. It's like, oh, my God. And then you find out that it's like, don't be the room next to me. Don't be the room next to me. It was luckily he was the next door down, so there was at least 2 walls between me and my shit because it was going to be epic.
You mean him and your shit?
Well, yeah.
Right. Okay.
2 years having battle shits.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris, any more nominees?
No, that's me.
Right, I'll run through what you missed out. Best animal Christmas. I don't know if he knows it's the category, but Mars the dog.
Yeah,
I'm
Mars,
losing track. I need to put a list of categories.
I know. Every week Andy adds a new one. I think he knew this one was coming. Was that one? Best fight has to be the martial arts.
I forgot worst twist.
Yeah.
Worst. Well, you got his worst twist, Chris. Give me your worst twist and see.
What the twist that he's dead.
Yeah, twist. Yeah, he's not dead. What worst twist? No, I didn't. What have I missed? Oh, best stunt. I forgot to mention this earlier on. As soon as the 2 of them arrive at the house, he stomps off in a wee huff out into the back, and you just see him in the background.
Oh, he just falls.
And then he's just kicking around, and he, whoa, it takes a proper full-on back bump in the background. This is an amazing stunt. Got that. Most obvious name, Chris, because it's Chris Judge.
Right.
Let's just call him Chris. Not you, no. And then our major awards that I've got nominees for. We've already mentioned the inanimate object penguin in the plan, but best line. Marlon asks, "Where's Ryan?" And then Patrick replies, "He's bushed." And that made me laugh out loud. A simple joke like that. It made me laugh out loud. Andy, any other nominees that we've missed?
I've just got the petroleum jelly slap your face in the bathtub. I don't know what category you're putting that into, but I liked it.
What was the other one? Is it? I think it's Ted in Scrubs when he's got like his flop sweat and he goes like that on the edge of the table and goes whack and knocks himself out.
Mr. Burns shines his head up. It does the same thing.
Things like that crack me up.
Yeah. Funny practical comedy is always good. On to point 9 on the podcast then, our moral of the story, what we thought the lesson that we're supposed to learn from the film is. I've gone for a very simple and often repeated one. I've just got don't trust anybody, because I feel like everybody is just out to get everyone in this film and lying and trying to kill each other. So don't trust anybody, I would say. Chris, what's your moral of the story?
Yeah, karaoke should never be forced on anyone.
Actually, yeah, that is my moral story. I think that's a life moral.
Andrew, there will be no karaoke.
We'll see how many drinks we get in us. And Andy, what's your moral story?
Sell shit on eBay. Good money on that.
Good money in it, yeah. Seemingly, yeah. I don't know. It didn't seem like
job actually was if you had a job.
Yeah. I think he was just selling shit.
Sells just belongings. Point 10 on the podcast. This is the 10-point rating where we rate the movie out of 10. I have got Andy to go first because he picked it.
So yeah, like I said, I don't like indie films at all. I hate quirky films, and this film was actually quite ruined for me the first time I watched it with commentary stop starting. So watching it a second time I enjoyed it the second time. Third time I kind of know what's coming, so the rating's been coming down ever since. However, I actually do like it as a Stargate fan. It's got something for everybody, and actually there's enough quirkiness there that I actually enjoy it. But I'm going to say it's bang average, so it's a 5.
5 for Andy. I put myself last because Andy specifically named me as the reason he picked it. So Chris, why don't you go in the middle? I'll go
David Hewlett just does what he does in pretty much all his films. He plays manic, I think, absolutely perfectly. And without him, this would be 10 times worse. It's got a few really funny moments, like spots like we just talked about the petroleum jelly. Fucking gets me every time. I found it quite predictable, like all the way through, but like Andy said, it's still an okay watch, and I'd happily watch it again at some point. So I'm giving it a 4.
4 from Chris. I mentioned a lot of my thoughts earlier on, but the one thing I'm not mentioning yet so far, I think it's quite clearly a 20 to 30 minute short film made into 90 minutes. Like, it feels like there is half an hour of a really funny sort of weird sort of, oh, have I killed him, have I not? And then they've actually, oh, well, we could put that in and that could be 5 minutes. And they expanded it too much. The first half hour, as I say, up to the point where he gets buried, I was in. Like, I'm like, okay, this is good. It looks good. Like, it doesn't look like a really cheap indie film. It look, with the exception of the fade to blacks in between scenes, makes it feel like a short film. But actually, like, cinematically, it looks like a movie, and I was enjoying it, and I liked how it was all, actually, you can tell it's filmed in the one house and all that sort of stuff there. But yeah, it really loses momentum with me. So I am only giving it a 4 as well, but definitely funny enough. I'll not say
I'm
this
taking
is not,
that. That's a win for me.
Yeah, it's not The Room. Like The Room, I love, and I definitely will watch The Room again before I watch this. However, this is comfortably better.
I did not have high hopes when Andy first described the
Yeah.
company, so I was pleasantly surprised.
I'll take that. I'm glad I didn't get David Hewlett on the podcast because I reckon our scores would have been a bit more skewed, and Chris wouldn't have said anything through this podcast.
No, I would have, but like I liked him in the film. I think he's great.
He's good.
I've always liked David Hewlett. Like same way as like 99% of the Stargate actors, they're good TV actors. David Hewlett's one of them ones that if he gets cast right, he could be brilliant in a film, but he just seems to take smaller roles.
Yeah.
The same with Paul McGillion. He was meant to be Scotty in Star Trek, and I think he probably lost it because he's shit Scottish accent.
Simon Pegg, who is Scottish.
Exactly, but yeah, he was the second in running for being Scotty, and then Simon Pegg stole it from Paul McGillion.
Yeah. There we go. It's a 4 officially. Not too, but not comfortably not the worst we've ever seen on the podcast. And yeah,
I'm taking that as a win.
Watchable. I think it's got its moments. It's got its like funny bits that I'll remember. I think if I'll ever watch it again, like, oh yeah, that's what that happens. Normally we do the theme, but this is Andy's theme where people he's met. Is what his theme is. It also fits my
entire. I met the entire cast except from one person, the random dude that's in the fake mock.
Right. I think we're going to see the.
But yeah, it also fits your one as well.
It fits my theme,
and potentially fits Chris's one as well with spaceships and shit.
Yeah, it depends what's in
spaceships.
The TV show. Yeah, but yeah, it fits my one because Paul McGillion is.
Kate Hewlett.
Eh?
When have you met his sister?
She's been at one of the events as well.
I don't know how that's surprising, to be honest.
No, she's not even. She's only in like a few things. I didn't think she'd be.
She still comes over.
Yeah, all right.
People want autographs.
Yeah, they want. Give me all the Stargate people I can get. Yeah.
Exactly.
Anyway, yes, this film also fits my Scottish theme that I have continued on going. So it's my pick next. Last time out, if you remember correctly, I picked the 2002 drama horror action thriller that I thought ended in Scotland. That was,
Please tell me you picked Doomsday now.
This time I have picked the 2002 action horror thriller actually set in Scotland in the Scottish wilderness. It's Dog Soldier.
Yeah.
We're going dogs on the movie on the podcast. We're going from one dog to the other, which is why I kind of laughed last week when Andy picked a film that had dog in the title, knowing that I was going to be Dog Soldiers the week after. This film does take place in Scotland. I think the majority, if not all, of it
at least
in Scotland.
There's one Scottish actor, so.
And there's
Scotland.
And it fits my theme because I've met multiple of them.
Yeah, there we go as well. I have never seen this film all the way through. That's another one I've seen bits of, but I've never sat and watched all of Dog Soldiers.
Oh, you're in for a treat for the ending then.
Okay, yeah, I don't know any twists. I don't know what happens. So there we go. Dog Soldiers next week. You'll have 7 days, give or take, to find Dog Soldiers. Give it a watch, and we'll get you next time on Tempo Podcast.